Hi, Tamu here from Salsa Babies for another Movin' Monday. And today I want to talk to you about what pelvic floor or core dysfunction might feel like. Which is kind of a hard thing to describe because it is completely individual. What it might feel like for me might be completely different from what it might feel like to you. But I want to describe to you some of the things that I've heard, some of the things that I've learned, so that if any of them sound familiar, resonate as something that you're experiencing in your body, or even something similar to what you're experiencing in your body, that you can go and explore that. You can go and get that checked out. So what some people might describe on the, let's say on the lesser end, on the less extreme sounding end, might be just weakness, that they might just generally feel weak in their core. And a different kind of weak from I need to work out more. That they just don't feel well supported in the front, in the bottom of their core area. So it may be all the time. You just generally feel like this weakness in the middle. It could be when you go to do something that requires a little more strength, requires a little bit more force, coughing, sneezing, picking up heavy things, picking up heavy kids, all require strength in the deep core muscles. So if any of those times you feel like, oh, I just don't feel well supported in my core area, that may be a sign of some core dysfunction. Some women might describe heaviness in their vagina. So just this feeling of, I don't know how else to describe it, just heaviness. Just like there is some pressure, some force, even when you are otherwise relaxed, when you're walking around. It could be first thing in the morning when you get up. For some people, it's more towards the end of the day when you have done things that have required force and the muscles are just fatigued and they're sort of over relaxed to a point that you're starting to actually feel the sensation of that pressure on the pelvic floor, that pressure in the vagina. And gravity. Gravity also can put some force, some pressure, right? It pulls everything down. So if it's already moving down a little bit more than we want it to, that gravitational pull may make it feel a little heavier towards the end of the day. Some women may describe leaking. So oftentimes, professionally, we use the word incontinence, and not everybody connects with that word because the mental image of incontinence is sort of the extreme, right? That you're completely losing your bowels. Incontinence means any kind of leakage, a drip, a dribble, a trickle, whatever you want to call it, that happens when you don't want it to. That's actually what incontinence means. It doesn't mean you have to completely lose your bladder or completely lose your bowels. Any amount of losing them when you don't want to, that is incontinence. And that is something serious that you need to get checked out with a pelvic floor physiotherapist. So not just your family doctor, not just your OB, not just your midwife. Definitely you can mention it to those people and hopefully they can refer you. But right now, the only professionals who are trained and their whole job, their whole scope of practice is to work with your pelvic floor and your deep core muscles is a pelvic floor physiotherapist. So if you're having even a little dribble, even a little trickle, even if it's only when you jump, even if it's only when you cough or when you sneeze or when whatever, you're on a trampoline or you're in your fitness class, anytime you have that little drip, that is incontinence and you need to get it checked out. So other, maybe more sort of extreme signs of pelvic floor or core dysfunction would be if you're in a laying down position and you go to get up and you curl up to get up, which most of us do, you know, we're laying down and we kind of roll up from the bottom or from the top of the spine to the bottom of the spine, and you notice a bulging in your tummy, a coning. So down the midline of the stomach, there is this connective tissue between the muscles deep within the core. And if they're not working, if that connective tissue is not doing its job, then when you roll up, you cause this pressure that pushes onto that connective tissue and causes the innards to bulge outward. We don't want that. So if you notice that coning, that's a sign of core dysfunction and you need to get that checked out. If you feel like something is coming out of your vagina, so that may be a sign of prolapse. That may be a sign that your internal organs are now starting to come right out of your body because the pelvic floor is just not providing them the support that they need. So whether it is your uterus, your bowels, your rectum, is starting to come down through the wall of the vagina, not through, but like towards the wall of the vagina and come towards the opening of the vagina. Because things, they need somewhere to go, that's where they're going to go. So definitely if you feel something coming out, or if you actually see something coming out, then you need to go and get that checked out. You definitely need to go to a pelvic floor physiotherapist who can determine whether or not that is a prolapse and give you some exercises to help lift that back up. Because sometimes I think as women, as people, but definitely as women, we're afraid to go and get checked out. We're afraid to find out what these things mean. Not getting checked out isn't going to make it go away, especially if it has gotten to the point of a full-scale prolapse. Ignoring it isn't going to make it better. It's not going to make you feel better. Going to somebody, a professional whose job it is to help you learn how to engage those muscles, move things back where they're supposed to be, and keep your body strong on the inside, not just on the outside. So not just six-pack muscles, not just super chiseled arms and legs. Keep it strong on the inside. That's what's going to make you feel better. That's what's going to make you feel supported. That's what's going to help you be able to do all the things that you want to do for the foreseeable future without having to worry about bringing an extra pair of underwear or packing an extra pad or packing an extra diaper or any of those things that, I'm sorry, but as a 35-year-old woman, I don't want to do. I don't want to wear Depends, ever, but especially not now. So if I'm having any issues, I'm gonna go and get them checked out with a pelvic floor physiotherapist, somebody whose job it is to help me figure those things out, okay? So weakness, dripping, trickling, also low back pain. So if you're having any weakness in the front, that can often, very often, translate into weakness and pain in the back. Because sometimes when we have weakness in the front, then we start to put pressure on other muscles to carry our weight, but also to carry the other things that we need to carry. Because moms, we're like pack mules. We're always carrying things. So if you're having low back pain, very extreme low back pain, even a dull ache of low back pain, or pain around your hips, those are all potential signs that something is not right in that part of the body and that it's time to go and check it out. Take care of yourself. Take care of your kid's mom, because if you don't, nobody else will.